Tony Abbott has vowed to save the nation from what he calls the worst government it's ever had. Today he officially launched the Coalition's campaign. It was light on spending but heavy on scorn for Labor. The Liberal leader called for an end to the Gillard-Rudd soap opera and promised a return to grown-up government. Chief Political Correspondent Mark Simpkin begins our coverage from Brisbane.
The faithful did stand up,
Tony Abbott,
giving their leader a 1.5-minute ovation. His political mentor got a front row seat and an embrace.
Well, isn't it great to lead a united political party with a deputy I can trust, a predecessor who's a friend, and a former Prime Minister who's a hero.
A different former Prime Minister was the real focus. Kevin Rudd got more mentions than Julia Gillard.
The only unfair dismissal that anyone has talked to me about in the course of this campaign is Kevin Rudd's. And I say it's time to end this soap opera and to give Australia back a grown-up government.
A mantra repeatedly repeated, even by the support acts.
This is a national soap opera, not a government. And don't worry about the bold and the beautiful, the young and the restless. Try the vain and the ruthless.
Now she's had to resort to text her ex.
8 months ago, few Liberals thought Tony Abbott would be standing here. Even fewer thought he could win the election.
Our task is nothing less than to save Australia from the worst government in its history. I say this: let's bury an era of gutless spin and give our country a fresh start where politicians say what they mean and do what they say.
To reinforce that, the opposition leader laid out a timetable for his first months in office. Day 1, call Nauru to reopen the Asylum Seeker Centre, set up a debt reduction task force. Within 1 month, an economic statement, a Murray-Darling Basin plan, a visit to countries in the region and reimbursement for insulation inspections. Within 3 months, travel to Afghanistan.
No one at all is going to accuse the next coalition government of being all talk and no action.
He didn't make any new spending announcements, vowing instead to crack down on people smugglers. A coalition government will introduce new mandatory minimum jail terms. At least 12 months for harbouring a so-called non-citizen, at least 10 years for more serious or repeated offences.
Because, ladies and gentlemen, the people smugglers need to know that their game is finally up.
For the first time in 14 years, the star attraction at a coalition campaign launch is an opposition leader. And that means this event's about more than pageantry or even politics.